What's going on, guys? NoobThePro here, and today we're going to get into the best PvP settings for PUBG. This is just my opinion, and to be honest, if you have a toaster, these settings will help you out a lot too. So if that's your kind of PC, you might want to check this out as well. If you're looking for pretty graphics or like the best visuals, this definitely isn't the video for you. Other than that, let's get into it. Alright guys, we're going to go over what I think are the best graphic settings for PvP in PUBG. They're not pretty, but they do give you a better overall PvP experience. Makes it easier to see players, easier to know when you are going to be spotted in a bush from distance, and the game just runs better. So these settings will be good for a toaster too if you have one of those. But if you do like this video, please remember to give it a like and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. I'll try and get more videos out every couple of days. So the first few settings depend on you and your setup and whatever you have. I mean, they're pretty straightforward. But if you want the maximum FPS, I recommend turning the auto highlights capture off. It does take up a little bit of FPS because it uses your graphics card to do that. This is pretty much only if you have an NVIDIA graphics card though, I'm pretty sure. So the FPP camera field of view, I put that to max unless you have a really small screen because it gives a larger field of view. Like if you have a small screen, I can understand it's a bit hard to do, but if you have a decent sized screen, definitely max out your field of view. The brightness is a bit personal as well, but I find a bit brighter to be personally better, just because you can see a little bit easier. That's in my experience anyway. The lobby FPS can be unlimited. That doesn't really matter. The in-game FPS limit, however, you can put it to unlimited, but at least have it higher than the monitor refresh rate, your monitor refresh rate. Screen scale should be at 100 unless you have a really big monitor, then you can blow it up a bit, go a bit bigger. Um, Anti-aliasing and post-processing. These are literally just for prettiness. They're just there to make your game look nicer. And to be honest, I find post-processing a bit blurry at range. We don't want any of that, so I put that to very low as well. Shadows, they can give you an edge in fights. They can help you out a little bit, but it's a minimal advantage. It's not much. So I always put these down to very low as well to get the max frames I possibly can. So textures can be distracting and they're just there for prettiness. They're basically hogging frames. But if you have good VRAM, like at least 4 gigabytes on your graphics card, then you can turn this up a bit. Otherwise, put it to very low for the maximum frames. It definitely will not help you in combat whatsoever. Effects to very low. This means that when a smoke grenade is thrown, I know exactly how much smoke's coming out of that. A frag grenade, the explosion's less distracting. Stun grenades, those sort of things. They're not very integral to gameplay when it comes to fighting. Like you will see even on very low, you will see what you need to see. Next up are foliage and view distance, which are actually way more important than they seem. At least from what I've experienced, they help out a lot with gunfights, combat, whatever, spotting out players especially. So I put foliage on very low, which means I know for certain which trees and bushes have rendered and no grass gets in my way, especially when I'm scoped in at distance. And if you're on higher settings, you might hide in a bush that hasn't rendered for people on lower settings yet, which can be quite devastating sometimes. The view distance I put to ultra. It means you can see and render at the maximum possible distance, which is pretty straightforward. Obviously, that's going to help. Turn VSync on if you have screen tearing, otherwise leave it off. And motion blur personally makes me dizzy, so if you like it, leave it on. I don't know, for me, I wouldn't like it obviously. Sharpen actually tanked my frames, so I turned it off as well. Others have told me they found it helpful with like seeing people, and so just try it out if you like it. Personally, it ruined my frames. Thanks for watching if you made it this far. Let me know what you think in the comments. Obviously, this is just my opinion and your experience may vary. Remember, if you did like the video, please give it a like and share, and subscribe to the channel for more content.